ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवो मतो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहैतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, chapter 48, verse number 11. So in the previous class we read how Krishna, he visited Kubja's home on her request, and which he has promised, and Kubja received him and Uddhava with great respect, and Krishna fulfilled her wish and gave her the boon Kamavaram Dattva, and then he went back to his place, his home. So in the next verse, Sukadeva Goswami speaks, Duraradhyam samaradhya Vishnum sarveshwareshwaram yo vrinite manograhyam asatvat kumanishyaso. So he is saying that any person who gets the opportunity to worship Krishna, who is Sarveshwara Ishvara, who is the Lord of all Lords, Vishnu, and who is not easily to please. Aradhya means pleasing, worshipping, and to actually please him, and then ask what you want to satisfy your mind because of your petty mindedness, then such a person is kumanisi, not very intelligent. So she got the opportunity to get the best, but she asks something which is only pleasing to the mind, manograhyam. And this is because of asatvat. So sattva, the word sattva means sattva guna, but sattva also means the heart. Sattvanurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata. So asattva here means not good heart, means petty heartedness. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says that prasangat prayasi bhavena bhajato janan shikshayati. So contextually, Sri Sukadeva Goswami gives instruction to those devotees who worship Krishna as their lover. And this is giving instruction. And the instruction is that one should not desire something for one's own pleasure from Krishna. So therefore it says Duraradhyam iti manograhyam swaindriya sukham. So manograhya means which is pleasing to the mind. Swaindriya sukham, pleasing to the senses. So we can approach Krishna and we can desire material things, we can desire to enjoy with him, and we can desire to serve him within moral principles, and we can desire to love him without any restrictions. So these are the different possibilities, and that's what he is pointing it out here, that simply to ask for material pleasure or to have pleasure with him, this is not the highest. Tena krishnendriya sukha eva sarvatha drishtya. So he says the meaning therefore is that instead of swaindriya sukha or happiness for one's own senses, one should desire to give pleasure to Krishna's senses, Krishna indriya sukha. And sarvatha drishtya, from all angles, from all one's activities. So what about oneself? Yadi anusangikam tu indriya sukham syat tadana dosha. But in the process, if you get happiness, that is not a defect. Means happiness, personal happiness is not the goal. That if that is the goal, that you can also desire here. But the goal is to give happiness to Krishna. That's what bhakti is, anukulyena krishnana silnam. So this is not easy to desire. Although we hear it all the time, we also talk about it all the time. But to actually desire it truly from the heart, that's not easy. And the reason for that is that we are very much attached to our body, mind, senses. So ultimately everything falls in the realm of these body, mind and senses. Yavanya priti mai vasudeve namuchyate deha yogena tavat. So Rishabhdev says that unless one has priti in me, in Bhagavan, one cannot give up priti for the body. So this priti, love, attachment to the body, this is the most natural thing. One is born with it. It's not something which is acquired by practice, by education, by counseling, by hearing, right? You are born with it. This is the fundamental principle of material life. So to get out of it is not easy, and it is not possible that one can do it by one's own effort. Although many people think like that. Sometimes people make statements like that. I've heard people making statements, even if Indra comes, we will challenge him. Even if God comes, we can challenge him. If Maya comes, we will kick away Maya. People make this kind of statements. But this is only out of pride, and based in ignorance. It is not possible. Because just when you think your size itself, how big you are, then you can understand what is your greatness. Even the word is small. Even the word is anu. It's not big word. It's only 2 syllables, anu. So, atomic in size, and there is nothing much in it. You may conceive, okay, we have all knowledge, we have all this, we have Brahma Gyan, we have Bhakti. There is nothing, just a little spark. Even spark is bigger in size, you can see it. It's not even visible. Keshagra Sat Bhagasya, 10,000 part of the tip of the hairs. So that's small, and it doesn't have any hands or legs or even mind. So it is put inside one body, just sits there, cannot do anything. When the child is in the womb of the mother, what can he do? Can he do anything? Nothing. Even after coming out, cannot do anything except cry. Inside cannot even do that much. So that person grows up by eating food, and then he starts boasting, I can do this, I can do that. So sometimes you see some great boxers, wrestlers, athletes, physically at their prime, then when they become old you see they are hardly able to walk. It's so amazing how the body transforms. But when you are at the peak of your youth, then you think there's nobody like you. But just a matter of little time. So, point is attachment to bodies cannot be given up. So only by the grace of Krishna, by the grace of his devotees, it is possible, otherwise it is not possible. No matter how much you hear, how much you read, how much you talk, when it comes to acting, bhag ke teen path. Back to square one. So that's what he is teaching here. This is what is to be understood from this story. And because of that attachment for Indriya Sukha, then we interpret all these stories also for Indriya Sukha only. All that same interpretation, same desire. So therefore he says that he is trying to teach now, and especially this is applicable for those who are, he is not saying the word Manjari Bhav, he is saying Prayasi Bhav. Because they have a bigger problem. Those who are in Sakha Bhav, Vatsalya Bhav, Dasa Bhav, they are not going to think anything like this kind of enjoyment. But those who are in Manjari Bhav, Gopi Bhav, Prayasi Bhav, then they hear this and only think of this. The mind reverts to this only. Swaindriya Sukha. So that's why he is writing this. Commentator also has experience of this. That's why he comments like that. So he says, Prayasi bhavena bhasto janan shikshayati. That this instruction of Sukadeva Goswami is specifically for those who are in prayasi bhav. So, bhakti matra ek kamitve api samsar dhvansvaditi gaya. So, if one desires only bhakti, then will he not get any happiness in pleasure? Because this is the question people come. So, we should only work for Krishna's pleasure. What about our own happiness? So, he says this will naturally come. This moksha, etc., they will come. So one has to become convinced about it. And that conviction itself is very difficult. So first to hear about it, then digest it, which means to actually comprehend what is being said, then accept it, because you may understand but you don't want to accept. And then after you have accepted it, then acting on it. After accepting also you may not act. So that is what is being described here. So it's a tough job. So bhakti matra ek kamitve api samsara dhvansvat gayam. So now this part is over. Kubja story. So next is he goes to the house of Akrura. Akrura bhavanam Krishnaha Saharamodhava Prabhuhu Kinchit Chikirshyan Pragat Akrura Priya Kamyaya. So Prabhu Sri Krishna, the Lord Sri Krishna, he went to the house of Akrura. And he went along with Uddhava and Balaram. This time Balaram was also there. In Kubja's place he did not take Balaram. Balaram is his elder brother. He may get a slap from him. What is this nonsense? Why did you bring me here? So therefore he took only Uddhava. So here he goes along with Balaram and Uddhava. And why he went there? Two purposes. One is Kinchit Chikirshayam, something which he wanted to do, or he wanted Uddhava to perform something. And other was to please Uddhava also. Akrura. Akrura Priya Kamyaya. To make Akrura happy, because Akrura also wished his presence in his house. He has invited him in the very beginning. So Akrura Priya Kamya eva Kinchit Chikirshyan. So he says to please Akrura only, he went there. Dasasya savishyak prabhu nirdesasya eva priyatva mananat. So he is not saying that he went for two things. He is combining both of them into one. That he went there to please Akrura only. So then the question comes, he will also ask him to go to Hastinapur. So that is his own work. So he says, no, that is also for Akrura's pleasure. So how can that be Akrura's pleasure? That is his own pleasure. That is Krishna's wish, that he should go with the message for the Pandavas to get the news about them. So what this has to do with Akrura's pleasure? So he makes very important point, The point he says that Akrura is a Dasa, and Dasa becomes happy when he gets seva. Is it true? Is it true?
No.
Doesn't seem like. So that's why I said true, but Vishnu Chakravarti says no, only one. So he says Akrura was happy to do service. So visiting his house was for the pleasure of Akrura, and sending him to Hastinapur was also for the pleasure of Akrura. That's what he says. So he says, Dasasya Savishayak Prabhu Nidarsasya Eva Priyatva Mananat. That a Dasa, a servant, he feels very happy if he gets instruction to do something by the Prabhu. So Prabhu Nirdesasya Eva Priyatva Mananat. This is their happiness. That if they get an opportunity to do seva, so they feel blessed with that. So that's why it is only one thing. Akrura Priya Kamya. So now the next verse describes how Akrura received them. Satyanarayana Shrestha Naradviksha Svabandhavan Pratyuthaya Pramuditaha Parisvajya Bhyanandataha. So he, Akrura, he saw them, all three of them, Narvar Shresthan, who are the best of human beings. So Sri Krishna, Balram and Uddhava. And Viksha Svabandhavan, they are also his relatives. They are all relatives, they are all Yadus. So he was very happy, Pramudita. So he was sitting and he saw that they were coming. Must be sitting outside. So he could see, or they had CCTV camera. So he immediately got up and he embraced them. So this is interesting that although Akrura is the same who fell on the ground when he saw the footprints of Krishna in Vraja, but here he first embraces them because he is their uncle. In relationship, Akrura is uncle of Krishna and Balram and Uddhava, all three of them. He is senior in age, so it is also appropriate for him to embrace affectionately, like father may embrace the son, like that. So he greeted them happily and embraced. And then he bowed down. So first he embraces, and then he bows down. He says, Nanam Krishnam Ramam cha Saitairapya Bhivaditaha Pujyamas Vidhivat Kritasana Parigrahan. So then he bowed down to Krishna and also Balaram, and they also reciprocated to him by giving respect to him because they are junior to him. So it's custom. And then he gave them place to sit down and he worshipped them with proper procedure, vidhivat, with proper chanting of mantras, paraphernalias, padyam, arghyam, achmaniyam, all this arghya. So whatever is given in puja, arti, garland, chandan, something to eat, some sweet, so all that he did. Therefore it says pujyamasa vidhivat krita asana parigrahan, while they were all sitting. So there is no commentary on this. And then what he did after that, that is being described in the next sloka. Padavane jani rapo Dhāryan Chirsha Nripa Arhanenambarayir Divyayir Gandha Shlagbhushanottamaihi. So he also washed their feet. That's why I said Padya. He gave Padya. So Padya means washing the feet. And then he put that water on his head. Pada Avnejani Apo. Dhāryan Chirsha Nripa. So this is interesting that he is senior to them in age, in relationship, but he is now worshipping them not as relatives, but as God. As he will also pray to them like that, recite prayers, because he has seen them before. Akrura had the vision when he brought them to Mathura and he went inside the Yamuna, he saw that they are Vishnu. So he has not forgotten that. He already knew this. So therefore he takes the Charanamrita on his head and he gave them Arhana Ambara Divyair. So he gave them nice cloth, unguents, sandalwood, garland and ornaments. So worship them very nicely. In proper procedure. So Asarutaha Apa Sirsha Sirshi Dharayan Mrijan Hastabhyam Mardhanena. So he put a lot of Charanamrita on his head. Architva Sirsha Anamya Pada Vankagato Mrijan Prashrayavanato Kruraha Krishna Rama Vabhasata. So after he has worshipped them properly, then he bowed down with his head. It's like after your puja is over, then you bow down to the deities. And then he spoke to Krishna and Balram. No. First he took their feet in his lap and he massaged their feet. So Padanka Gato Mrijan and Prashraya Avnato Akrura, with great humility he bowed down to them and then he spoke as follows. So this is what he said. Dishtya papo hatah kamsa sanugo vamidam kulam bhavadbhyam udhritam kirchad durantacha samedhitam. So he says that by good fortune this sinful Kamsa has been killed by you, and therefore he has been killed along with his followers Sanugaha Kamsa Hataha, and you have uplifted our whole family Vamidam Kulam Bhavadbhyam Udhritam. Because Kamsa was terrorizing everybody. Most of the Yadus, they have left Mathura in fear of him because he could do anything. He could put them in prison, he could kill them. He was having absolute authority and he was very powerful. They could not fight with him. So they ran away. Or they lived in a humble manner, just doing his bidding, whatever he asked them to do. So now they are free, they can breathe freely. So Durantacha Samedhitam. So you have uplifted our whole dynasty, our family from difficulties and made the family prosperous. So it's acknowledging what they have done. Idam kulam vamiti kimuchyate. This is for the next one. Then yuvam pradhana purushau jagadhetu jaganmayau bhavadbhyam na vina kinchit paramasti na chaparam. So now he is reciting prayers. This is also part of worship, doing stuti. So he is doing stuti to them. So he says that both of you are Pradhan and Purusha. So Pradhan is the source of material world and Purusha is who is the ultimate cause of everything. So both of you are that, and therefore you are the cause of the universe, Jagad Hetu. And not only you are the cause of this world, but you are the world yourself, Jagat Maya. So Abhinna Nimitta Upadhan Karan, you are also ingredient cause as well as the efficient cause. And without you there is nothing which can exist. So Bhavadbhyam Vinana Kinchit Paramasti na Chaparam. So whether superior or inferior, whether cause or the effect, everything comes from you. And there is nothing which can exist without you. So idam kulam vam iti ki muchyate jagat api yusmadiyam ityah. So he says that what to say that this family of ours, the Yadu dynasty, has been uplifted by you, made prosperous, but this whole universe is actually prospering because of you. So yuvamiti ekasyapi ishwarasya dvidhavirbhavat ditvena nirdesha. So he says that you are both Prakriti and Purusha. So how is that possible? Ishvara is only one. So now he's saying there are two Ishvaras. Krishna is also Ishvara. Balaram is also Ishvara. So how there can be two Ishvaras? There will be clash. So he says that Ishvara is only one. Eka eva Bhagwan. So ekasyapi Ishwarasya dvidhavirbhavat. It is only one, but he manifests in two forms. Therefore, dual has been used here. Otherwise, for God, there is no dual. You have to use only singular for him, or plural out of respect. But why dual? It says because the two are manifest from one. Tena tvameva pradhanam tvameva purusha ityartha. So you are pradhana. Pradhana is the cause of the material world, and you are also the purusha, the one who is the support of everything. Jagad hetu jaganmaya iti. So you are the cause of the universe and also manifest as universe. So tvameva karanam tvameva karyam ityartha. So the meaning is that you are the cause and you are also the effect. So this is unique in case of him, that he is the cause and also the effect. Because generally when cause is there, the effect is not there. When effect is there, the cause is not there. When effect manifests, cause becomes latent. And when cause is there, the effect is not manifest. So here this is something unusual, that the cause and effect both are there simultaneously. So therefore it says tvameva karanam tvameva karyam ityartha. Etadeva vyatirekena aha. So first he is speaking in positive sense, that you are both, and then he speaks in the negative sense, that without you the both do not exist. So without you there is no cause, without you there is no effect. Both are coming from you. So that is when he says that paramasti na cha paramasti. Atma srishtam midam vishvam anva vishya swasakti bhi Yate bahudha brahman shruta pratyaksha gocharam. So he says that idam vishwam atma srishtam. So this Vishwa, this universe is created by you from yourself. Janmadashayata comes from you. And after creating, so Svashakti bhi anvishya, then you enter into it. So Sasrajat, so he created and then Tameva anupravishat, then he enters into that with his Shakti and manifests. So iyate bahudha brahman shruta pratyaksha gocharam. So you manifest in so many various ways, whatever we can see, and there are so many things which we do not see but we hear about them from Shastra, about the other lokas, lower lokas, upper lokas, etc. So it's all manifest from you. Eka eva Bhagwan Jagad Rupena Nana Bhavati Itya. So Bhagwan is only one, and then he manifests in various ways in the universe. Atma Srishtam Svakaryam, and it is he who creates this, it is his karya. Vishwamidam Anvavishya Atra Pravishya Sthita. And after creating, then you enter inside it and remain in it. Baudha Deva Gandharvadi Rupena Manushya Gavadi Rupena Cha Iyate Avagamyate. And then you manifest yourself in so many different ways, such as Devas, Gandharvas, human beings, and cows, etc. Yato Vishwamidam Shruta Prataksha Gocharam Shravana Darshana Vishay Bhutam. So it is from you that this universe, which is manifest as what we see and what we can hear, so it is all your manifestation. Everything. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Isavashyam idam sarvam. Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. So all this is his manifestation. Klivatvam arsham. Sravana darshan vishayi. Gochara should be gochara. Akshi gochara, not gocharam. यथा हि भूतेषु चराचरेषु मह्यादयो योनिषु भान्ति नाना एवं भवान् केवल आत्मयोनिषु आत्मात्मतन्त्रो बहुधा विभाति. So now he is explaining how he is manifest. So yatha hi is used in Sanskrit when you want, just like you say for example. So yathai means for example, means this is how he will manifest. Bhuteshu charachareshu mahiyadeyo yonishu bhanti nana. He says, he gives one example. He says just like these material elements, earth, water, fire, air, etc. So they manifest in movable and immovable forms in this material world. Different yonis, different forms. So he says, in the same way, you also manifest. Evam bhavan kevala atma yonishu atma tantro bahudha vibhati. So in the same way, you also manifest in your various forms in this world by your own free will, your free wish. Atma tantra means swatantra. Means you manifest not because of karma. In the material world, living beings have to take birth, being forced by their past karma, but he does not manifest. here by his karma, but by his Atma Tantra, or by his Swatantrata, his own free will. And this is also Atma Tantra, your own self manifests, or your own body manifests in this way, in different varieties. Bahudha vibhati, in various ways. Ekasyeva nana rupatve drishtantam aha. So how one thing becomes manifest in various forms, he shows this by an example. Yatha bhuteshu bhautika sharireshu charachareshu yonishu jatishu mahyadaya hetavo nana bhutva bhavanti. So he said, just like earth, etc., they are only one element, one earth element, one water element, but then they become so much variety by their combination, and various types of moving and non-moving forms manifest. Evam kevala ek eva atmayonishu atma bhivyakti sthaleshu atma bhavan bahudha vibhati. So in the same way, you are only one, and you manifest in so many different ways, various forms. Atma Tantra, Swatantra, by your own free will. Srijashi atholumpasi pasi vishvam rajastamah sattva gunahi swashakti bhi न बध्य से तद्गुण कर्म भीर्वा ज्ञानात्मनस्ते क्वचय बंध हेतु. So you create, you also destroy, you also protect this universe. How do you do it? You do it with the help of the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. So with sattva you protect, with rajas you create, with tamas you destroy. So destruction happens by tamas, creation happens by rajas, and maintenance by sattva. So these are his potencies, but you are not bound by them. So in the material world you create, you become bound. You destroy, you are bound. You maintain, you become bound. All the activities you do, they bind you here. But he says, na badhya se tad gun karma bhirva. So you are neither bound by the qualities or by these gunas, nor by the activities. Why is that? Because you are jnanatmana. You are personification of awareness, consciousness, and therefore te kocha bandh hetu. Where is the cause for you to bind? Because bondage comes by ignorance, avidya karma. So avidya, asmita, rag, dvesh, avinivesh. It is ignorance which binds one. So these types of prayers you find how many times in Bhagavatam? Repeatedly. Anyone who prays, this is a common theme, that you are everything, you create, you can do this, you do that. Why this is repeated again and again everywhere? Practically every prayer from the very beginning, Janmadashrayata, starts from here only. So this is to make us understand that you don't think that you are the one. Because we have this problem. For every small thing I did it. So you want to take credit for everything. So this is just to discredit you and give the credit where it is due. Because you can see it actually, that you sit inside this body and you have to understand who are you If you understand that you are not the body, then you are also not the doer. But if you think you are the doer, then okay, you can think. That's how you become bound. That's why he says, Kvacha bandha hetu. Because he is Jnanatman. So this is the avidya. The ignorance is this only, that we are the body. And then from that, everything continues. So if we can remember this, then we also remain free. That's what Krishna says, Janma Karam Cha Me Divyam Evam Yaveti Tattvata. So if you know this, then Deham Takta Punarnati Mameti Swarjuna. So you don't take birth. Namam Karmani Nimpanti Name Karma Phalespriha Evam Mam Yavhijanati Karma Bhirna Sabadhyate. So he says that I perform karma, I don't get bound. One who knows this is also not bound. Why? He is doing karma. He is not getting bound. You know this, you also don't get bound. How is this? You know Advaitavada explanation of this? It says because you are him. Otherwise, how is it possible? Namam karmani limpanti, name karma phalespriha, iti mam yavhijanati, karma bhir sena badhyate. What is the correlation? Or janma kram cha me devyam evam yaveti tattva, deham takta punarneti. My janma and karma are divine. One who knows this does not take birth again. Why? Because I and you are same. If you understand this, you understand who you are. This is Advaitavada. Right? It fits, right, Daoji?
Fits the bill. Fits the bill.
So, otherwise, how is it that you know somebody's birth and activities as divine and then you don't take birth? It's only possible if you are non-different from that person, right? Yes, no? What is the argument? How can knowing somebody who is free from karma, and if you know that, then you become free from karma? So he says this is Jnanatmana. So Jnanatmanaste kvacha bandha hetu na badhyase tadgun karam bhirva Jnanatmanaste kvacha bandha hetu. So where is the cause for bandhana? So atas tvameva eko Jagdishvara. So only you are the Jagdishvara. Problem is that there are a lot of Jagdishvaras. That's why they are bound. They think that if we also say we are Jagdishvara, we will become free from bondage. Right? So now this is the problem, that there is no lack of Jagdishvaras. So they are also creating. Atas tvameva eko Jagdishvara. So he says only you alone and no one else is the Jagdishvara. What is the proof? So you srijasi, you create, and you lumpasi, pasi, srijasi. So you also cut. Lumpa means cutting. You also sow the seed, you also cut it. You also pasi. You also pour water on it. So tattad abhidhais tai gunais tai. So you take those different names. Whenever you use this particular guna, then you are called accordingly. If you are making sattva guna as an instrument, then you are known as palaka. If you take tamoguna as an instrument, then you are called samharaka. And if you take rajaguna as an instrument, then you are sarjaka. So then you creator, Jiva eva tvam ne badhyase. So living entity also does them at a small scale. Living entity also creates. Living entity also destroys. Living entity also maintains. But living entity becomes bound. Although he does very little, becomes bound. He does big creation, still he is not bound. So the difference is Jnanatma. Sarvate Jnanat na mukti. So Jnana is important. This knowledge is important. Nanu kuto aham na badhye. So he is asking, why is that I am not bound? So tatra hai Jnanatmana. So because you are Jnanatmana. So what does Jnanatmana means? Jnana Swarupasya. That you are Jnana Swarup. Jiva is not Jnana Swarup. No? What is Ajnana Swarupa? Jiva is Jnana Swarupa or Ajnana Swarupa? Which one? Jnana Swarupa. So then what is the difference? He is not saying big or small here, he is only saying Jnana Swarupa. This doesn't mean anything. So he is Jnana Swarupa and you are also Jnana Swarupa, so why is that he is not bound or you get bound? What is the reason? Bolo. Attachment.
Jiva is avidya.
Avidya. So jnanena avritam jnanam tena muhyanti janta. So being Jnana Swarupa, you are only looking at Ajnana and not at the Jnana. And if somebody even tells you, you don't want to listen to that. So that is what I said, Deha Yogena Yavat. We are doing Deha Yoga. Body Yoga, these days people do body yoga. Right? They said they call it body work. So it says, Pritirna Yavan Mai Vasudeve Namichyate Muchyate Deha Yogena. So body, if you do body yoga, then you get bound. Then you become somebody. You get another body. So he says, you are Jnana Swarupa, you are situated in Jnana and you means you are knowing it. We are Jnana Swarupa, but we are in ignorance of our Jnana Swarupa. By the Avidya. This is the greatest magic which God does. That's we are Jnana Swarupa and we think we are Ajnana. So Parabrahmanas tav bandha hetur avidya kva. So you are Parabrahma, you are the supreme reality. So he says, where is the possibility of avidya for you? Because the cause of bondage is avidya. There is not something, some ropes are binding or anything. It's only avidya only. There's nothing, it's not in the Swarupa. Jivasya eva tavasa nasti ityartha. So it is only the Jiva who has it, and like Jiva, you do not have it, therefore you are not bound. So that's why he is worshipable, and we should worship him. This is the reason for that. Otherwise, people say, why we have to worship him? Who is he? What is his greatness? So that is his greatness. So he will continue. We will do that in the next class if there is any question on this. Yes, Indra.
Babaji. You mentioned the sequence hearing, understanding, deliberating, and then acceptance. And you said that still we can understand something but not accept. And
you can understand and not accept.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think that acceptance is not under our will. We can willingly understand, we can willingly hear, we can willingly act, but acceptance, could you elaborate, what do you understand by acceptance? Is it just readiness to act according to what I hear? Or I think that it's something in my mind which internally says, okay, this is maybe not so sure or like that. And this acceptance, I don't feel it under my will.
No, acceptance is under your will. If you understand it and then you believe that this is true, because you can understand things being like, I can study, for example, how evolution happened, as modern science explains, right, or how the universe, I can understand it, but I cannot accept it because my understanding, which I believe in, is different from that, and that's what I believe. I can understand the way they are explaining it, no difficulty in that. So then if you believe in it, then you accept.
So does it mean that it is the faith? Acceptance is something like faith?
Yeah.
Which develops accordingly sadhana bhakti.
Yeah, it comes by association, by hearing. Which is also sadhana bhakti.
Thank you.
Mohini.
There are two questions. And you say that when someone destroys, he also gets bound. Like when someone creates, he gets bound. When someone maintains, he gets bound. And when someone destroys, he also gets bound. How exactly destruction or destroying something bounds someone? Because then the object is destroyed and then you are free of that object because it does not exist anymore.
So if you destroy one ant, you cut one tree, so you think you are liable for something or not?
No, in that sense, I understand that I get bound, but if I destroy, for example, a cup, how I get bound by that?
Well, if you create the cup, then also you may not be bound by that. The factory is creating cups, they are not bound. So you are bound when you think you are the doer. So even if you destroy and you think you are the doer, then you get bound.
Okay. And my second question was like about the last chapter, when it was described what Nanda Baba prayed, and then you said that because Uddhava knows Rasa Shastra, he could understand from where Nanda Baba is praying. So my question was like, did Uddhava also learn Rasa Tattva from Brihaspati?
Yeah, why you think he will not learn?
No, it was just a question, and my further question was, there are the vibhutis of Krishna, so is there also a vibhuti who is like among all the knowers and experts of rasa, he is like an outstanding rasa knower? Is there someone?
Someone outstanding knower of the rasa?
Yes, like a vibhuti of Krishna.
That Bharat Muni is there.
And Brahma is not recognized as the vibhuti of Krishna as a knower of Rasa?
Well, he is Vibhuti of Krishna, he is an avatar. This avatar is the creator. Okay.